appreciate all you guys that cover us. You've seen us being here after games in South Carolina in our short time here. It seems like, with a lot of those that we've had, I've been here longer than I have, but it's really been a short amount of time. We've had quite a few of those go the other way, and I appreciate your steadfastness in covering our kids, and I'm glad that you get to be in here tonight when we feel quite a bit different. And I couldn't be more proud of that staff in there and those kids to go through what they went through this week, and with the injuries, with the outside world having their opinions of things, and in the back of our mind as coaches, you always wonder if you really can get a team ready to do something like this when you're shorthanded and you come off a loss that's extremely disappointing and difficult. So you can imagine how proud I am and thankful that God chose to bless us. I told our team this morning that sometimes God wets the wood before he lights it. A little story in 1 Kings, and I feel like we've gone through our share of being drenched a little. And tonight we certainly are thrilled to represent our university and Rebel Nation out there in a battle between two good football teams. And could be proud of those young kids that we still didn't make it pretty. We did some things that made it a bit difficult, but we found a way to get it done, and couldn't be more proud.
Raise your hand if you have a question.
Obviously, offense won it at the end, but for the entire 4 quarters, defense,
Yeah.
magnificent.
I just, Dave and his staff, all of those guys from the on-the-field guys to the interns to the Corey Batoon and the role that all of those guys play in preparing those kids and being such short-handed and having to shorten practices because of that. And, it was just amazing that the job they did. I sat in on more of their meetings this week probably than ever before, not because I could add much to it, but the plan he had I thought was really good. And again, we were so short-handed, and then we lost Charles, Wiggum, Keith, Denzel was banged up. Just seemed like at one point, I asked when Keith went down, and we just pulled out Denzel. I asked Tom, do we have another stinger? And he said, Coach, I do not. I do not have another stinger. And I said, well, pal, you're going to have to put somebody in there. And, we kind of went with DT and Mike there for a couple snaps. Then Denzel said, I'll try to gut it out. And he did. So just real pleased with the defensive plan, the turnovers they created. We knew it would be a handful when we played Derrick Jones and Bobby Hewlett and guys at Jonathan Youngblood. I mean, these guys hadn't played any and had to go out there and guard Odell Beckham, some of those guys. And just, again, that makes our joy that much greater.
You to come up short so many times to finally come through with one. What was the environment like in the locker room amongst the kids?
It's pretty crazy in there right now. And, happy for Andrew Ritter. He to come back for his be asked to be redshirted his senior year last year, to come back, that kick like will make it memories for lifetime for him. To beat one of your biggest rivals, to recapture the Magnolia Bowl for Ole Miss here, that will. And he felt awful because the time before we drove down, he really. The protection was good. Snap may have been a little high, but he kicked the low minor, and I'm not sure what happened. He's not either. So he felt awful about that because that would have given us a 2-score lead. So I'm glad it worked out for him.
Obviously, your guys listened to you all week, but 1 week ago tonight, you guys lost one of these heartbreaking games. What does finally winning one of these, what can it do for you guys going forward?
My immediate thought always goes to recruiting. There's some really good recruits in that locker room that see that, and we had some really good ones here last weekend that see we're really close and we could use a little help because we're not where we need to be depth-wise at certain spots. And So, my mind always goes to that. My mind does not go to where the media would like for it to go to and say that we took 8 steps forward tonight. To me, it's just, this conference, I've said all along to the people that would listen to me that you have to be guarded in your expectations in year 2 with some of the issues we still have. But we're going to compete, and we're going to have a chance to win. And we didn't make plays the other night to win it at the end, and tonight we did. We made the catch on 3rd down, or we made the kick, or we made the pass breakup or the interception. But no question, I think it helps us in recruiting, which will help us ultimately get where we all want to go.